This episode is brought to you by Espolón Tequila. Slow, sticky, snoozy. They call these the dog days of summer. But Espolón? They don't do boring. Welcome to the Marg Days. Espolón Tequila. 100% blue Weber agave, born to shake up your summer. Just add lime, agave, and a little attitude. Visit espolontequila.com. Espolón Tequila, 40% alcohol, volume 80 proof. Copyright 2025 Campari America, New York, New York. Drink responsibly.
Welcome back to the Boundary Corner podcast. I'm Curtis Wilson.
I'm Brian Siegler, buddy. It is a Monday night. This is not a normal recording night for us. It feels a little different.
Monday, been a long, great Christmas weekend. A little unusual, but you're off this week. I'm working a few hours here and there over the next couple days. Buddy, how was your Christmas?
It was good, man. It was relaxing, or at least as relaxing as it can be, considering I had to drive to South Boston and Virginia Beach. So I'll take it. We were down at Mom's a couple days, down at my wife's mom's a couple days, and in the middle we were here for about 12 hours, 15 hours on Christmas Eve into Christmas Day. So it was a little hectic, but we got it done. How about your family?
We were good, man. Just up here with the in-laws. We're figuring out a time for my mother to come up and visit with us sometime over the next couple weeks. We'll figure that out. But it was good. It was, not as rushing. Usually we do Christmas morning here, and then we go out to my wife's family, and then usually a couple days later we're seeing my family and going down. So, different this year, just with the brother-in-laws for dinner Christmas Eve. They all came over here Christmas morning, and then my mother-in-law fixed us a nice dinner on Christmas Day night because we literally had nothing to do. It was just kind of like, what do you want to do? Nice. And she said, "I'll make something. Y'all can come over." Like, cool. The kids cleaned up.
Nice. Yeah, same here.
My living room and the playroom that you know of looked literally like a bomb went off.
Yeah.
Christmas Day, walking in like it's casualty. It's like, good God. And then for you guys who are younger without kids that listen to us, don't try to clean it up on Christmas Day. Just don't. You're wasting your time.
Yeah, I mean, by the time you clean it up, like the next round happens, and then or something else gets opened for the first time and it's a brand new level of mess. You kind of just let it all happen, do kind of one big scoop, make your dump run, and then easy peasy.
It is. It's really funny because, we're sitting here and I got tons of Marvel stuff for the kids. The kids got tons of Marvel stuff from Santa Claus, Mario stuff, so many things here and there. And it was just kind of like it started. So Friday did nothing. Saturday didn't touch it until the evening when my older son, he got a board game, got Sorry, the classic Sorry. And little bro went to bed early. He got to stay up late. And he wanted to play. I'm like, cool. Listen, we need the ottoman, which is currently buried behind a bunch of your toys. You need to clear a path and clear stuff in here and get the ottoman in. I left, and 4 minutes later, a good amount of toys were picked up, and the ottoman was rolled in.
Nice.
And then I essentially went and beat he and my wife on Sorry, which my wife was real salty about.
Oh. She gets salty with board games?
She gets salty, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
usually she's good. But she always claims that I sit here and I look like I have no chance that I am going to win. And then I pull the ultimate comebacks. Sorry, literally all four of mine on starts. They have 3 of 4 out, all rolling. Your boy came back.
Hey,
One.
fourth quarter comeback. I like it. I
Yeah.
like it.
So yeah, man. But it's been great. And like, you said, it's a Monday. He's off. I'm working some hours this week. We're going to be watching a lot of football. Well, starting tonight, rolling on literally until next Monday?
Oh yeah.
Sunday. So
This is the good times, fellas. Although it's not quite as good as it normally is, but you know,
hey, enjoy it.
yeah.
Enjoy it. We could be playing somewhere. We chose not to. There's your big thing. You can say we chose not to. And for everybody that listened last week, we really appreciate it. We appreciated Jeremy for coming on. Our highest viewed episode ever. So
Well done, guys. You did
thank
it.
y'all very
We
much.
appreciate you.
Yep. Thank y'all very much for that. And yeah.
It was a good week. It was a good week. Good. Enjoy Christmas. Good to have some things looking nice. I wish things were going as good in Hokie Nation, but we did get some good news a little bit earlier today, buddy.
Damn right, man. Big Stone Gap releases a little video. Well, first, when you saw it come up like I did, it was like, oh, why is this a video?
Oh
Um,
no. Oh no, this is not going to be good.
oh no. And then, you watch it, you get to the last, and it's like, I'm back. And it's like, whew, thank you. And
Yes.
as, as me and Brian have already sort of put out there, our logical side of our brains don't feel good about next year. We just don't. Having James back helps somewhat. It makes us super happy. He's an awesome player. He comes back and balls again. He's going to push himself into the upper regions of the NFL draft.
Well, he goes from probably being in the top 5 of the class this year to probably being in the top 2 or 3 next year, maybe even head of that class. So I mean, it's probably a good thing for him. It's definitely a good thing for us, obviously, getting him back. So win-win here on this part. I mean, you could make your argument you strike while the iron's hot, but at the same time, I think he does have room where he can improve his stock if he has another good season, or at least a season like he had this year. I think that stock will go up just because there won't be quite as deep at tight end next season with the guys coming out. So should be good either way there. Obviously, we love having him back. I mean, versatile player, do a little bit of everything. His blocking has gotten a whole lot better in the last year. We saw that on tape this year. So that's big, and that's going to be helpful with an offensive line that we'll talk about later that may have some holes to fill. So good to have Big Stone Gap back in the fold here.
Absolutely. And, like you said, it's the versatility. And I think next year, even more of the versatility, probably showing his hands more, his blocking's improved. And just his body type, just it's like to get slightly more fit, to sort of slightly this much in these particular areas, and to go from a guy who's probably going to get drafted 5th to 7th round to potentially first 2 days. If he goes out and you look at his body type, potentially what he could do at the combine, really shooting himself up into that upper echelon. But Brian, everything hadn't been sunshine and roses, and the guy that I would say kind of kicked it off, and no disrespect to him, but kind of kicked it off after the Pitt game. Quincy Patterson goes to North Dakota State. I'm happy, and the reason I'm happy he landed there and not, in Illinois or, a Nebraska. He's going somewhere where there's an unbelievable culture. They win football games. He's going to be able to showcase himself day one.
Yeah, that's the big thing, is that they have a history of kind of taking the bigger body quarterbacks and getting a lot out of them, teaching them to learn offenses very well. They have a winning culture. They're known to put points on the board. I think it's a very good fit for him. I think it's a very good fit for their school. And if he's leaving us, I'm happy that he's going somewhere where I think he's going to make some noise. And even though you're taking a step down here, that's a school that is on everybody's radar in the NFL. So there's still potential there for him to make a splash later on that front.
It absolutely is. That's the big key. It's eyes are on him. They get national attention. They're not sitting out there on the deepest, ESPN3 channel that you can think of. So,
they play more big games than Illinois does.
It's true. It's very true. And obviously, you'll probably I'll have to look at their schedule for next year, but probably going to have the potential to, play some sort of big school right out of the gate. And let me see if I can find it here. It's one of those things. Yep, I'm going to effort it, guys.
Efforting.
Well, they're playing a spring season, so can we get 2021 fall?
Yeah, because I don't think he's going to be playing. I don't think he's eligible to play in the spring season, if I read everything correctly about that, because of how many snaps he played in 2020 for us.
Looking here,
probably it wasn't enough snaps for my satisfaction either, so it's kind of bad.
Exactly.
Not the greatest thing there, but
actually no big game for them next year. So yeah. Another guy that was moving on, Darrell Simmons, committed to Stephen F. Austin just a couple days ago. Good for him as well. Big bodied guy, 6'2". Wish he would have hung around. Feel like they could have used him, but I think it's to a point now where if guys aren't seeing themselves there, they're going to move on because you got to have tape. You've got to have tape, and they're going to a pretty decent school. I mean, Stephen F. Austin went 6-4 this year, and
Can I ask you something though, buddy?
Yeah.
We have had a lot of wide receiver recruits that have transferred out of the program.
It's true.
Is some of the problem the fact that we're not, when these guys are getting on the field, we're not doing a good job of getting them any sort of targets or anything like that? I feel like when we've got the usual suspects on the field, they're still under targeted, but they're the only ones getting the actual targets in the passing game. It seemed like as soon as some of the other guys came on the field, whether it was Fairs or Changa or any of those other guys, like we just either went straight run or were targeting tight ends or running backs when they were in there. I mean, it seemed like we weren't getting opportunities for guys that weren't named Turner or Tavion Robinson. I mean, that's just what it was.
Turner, Tay, or Big Stone. Yeah. It's true. And all right, Brian, we don't want to start cursing again because
yeah, we do.
Well, good Lord, it reflects upon what we're doing on the offense, and that's where it's irritating. And the irritating piece too is, and people have highlighted this on Twitter. Oh, we want to rotate like 6 or 7 wide receivers. Well, you don't.
And when you do, you don't do anything to get the other guys not named Trey or Tay involved in the offense.
Exactly.
It's only so many wide receivers that are going to sit the bench, and then when they get on the field, just block.
Yeah. Hey, we want you to go block or just run.
It'd be a decoy.
No, screw you. I won't. I'm here to attempt to get into the NFL. I need to show more than blocking highlights on tape. Yeah. And you kind of think with Simmons, especially as Fairs and Hodge, along with the 2 big ones, they were getting the PT. Some of these guys weren't. It's just like, okay, we've got to go. And I don't fault them for it. But it is what it is. And, again, why is our logic we don't feel good about next year? There's another reason. And we are full forward with no change. All right. I don't know how to feel about this next news.
Okay.
because I love the guy as a player, but Gerard Hewitt essentially not returning, going to give the NFL a shot. A, you lose a huge leader on the defensive line. A workout warrior who obviously gives 100% all the time, although he's undersized at 6'1", 285 for what we want to do now.
He's a vocal leader and a leader by example. So I mean, those are good guys to have on your roster, even if they're not your frontline players. And the fact that he was also that to some degree, that's going to hurt a little bit. Now, I do think based on the way the system, I mean, obviously we're full go with what we were doing this year again next year. So the further we get into that and the further other players get into that, his body type is going to work himself out of snaps.
It's very true.
And I get maybe if he's saying this is the best my tape is going to look if I'm going to take a shot at the NFL and is going to run with that.
Exactly. And then you kind of think next year, one guy that you kind of, I'm not saying you were impressed by, but you were intrigued at times how he played was Josh Fuga.
Yeah.
Although Fuga's only 6 foot, Fuga's 305. He's huge. You've got Crawford, who's a 300-pounder. You've got Cunningham coming back next year, a 300-pounder. You've got Pollard's undersized, but you've got Kendricks, who's getting up there. And Kendricks is that guy with that about 6'2.5" height.
Yep.
And some of the other guys that we've recruited, 6'3", already 2'9".
He's in the upper 280s too, so he's a load, even though if he's not quite that 300-pound range that you're looking for. And I just feel like those guys are going to start creeping into Hewitt's snaps this year, and so that might be what the move is about. But again, you can't undersell the impact of his leadership on that line. So that's going to be the thing I think we missed the most. And a couple boneheaded plays this year, but on the whole, plays with his heart on his sleeve. Workout warrior is always giving 110%. So guys like that definitely help the morale on the rest of the line. So it's definitely going to be a blow there. But in terms of just on the field product, I feel like it's going to be close to a wash, but definitely going to miss that leadership.
Absolutely. All right. Well, let's get into probably along with the two quarterbacks with Hendon, who's still out in the portal, and Quincy, the two biggest named players, high profile, high recruits, 4 stars, top 100, top 247s players, Brian Hudson and Doug Nestor. Everybody knows they're in the portal. And me and Brian were talking a couple of days before it happened. We're texting back and forth, and it's like, you text me, Brian. It's like, I keep hearing this, and I don't want this. But Doug Nestor, start with him.
Yep.
Just a couple of days ago, commits to West Virginia.
Fucking A. What the hell, man?
Well, first of all, I'm gonna say something. It got us pissed because we're the age where West Virginia, to me, was the bigger rival than UVA. It was. It was more heated. It was nasty at that point in time in the 90s, in late 90s, early 2000s. They were good. We were fucking good.
We were burning shit and starting riots in Blacksburg over this rivalry, man.
It was fights. It goes there. I think nowadays it's not what it was, but I think you might see some heat because the Hokies, early September, go to Morgantown next year.
Yep. There's a little skin in the game now too with this transfer, and there was hints here and there that Nestor was returning closer to home for family things, but then when you look at it, Blacksburg is closer. So, if you'd have said he was heading to Marshall, I'd have been like, okay, but this ain't Marshall.
No.
So, with that being said, I'm not really happy with this. I mean, I wish Nestor good luck in his career. I love what he did here, and I hope he does well in his career. But yeah, there's definitely one game I'm not cheering for him.
Oh no, not at all. And again, best of luck to him. But for us older in the fan base, and obviously our guest last week is one of them with, starting school in '04 when it was still nasty. This is the one that we just kind of grind our teeth at and just say, okay, here's what I hope happens. I hope you miss your block and we crush your quarterback the first time and he's out the whole game. And one of those dogs up front starts yapping in his mouth.
Yep.
If that happens. All right. The second transfer, Brian, was Hudson. Hudson did go closer to home. He went to Louisville. It's in ACC. I don't know the next time we'll play them. It took 7 years to play them the first time because he's liable to be long and gone by the time.
We played Notre Dame twice before we played Louisville.
And it's hilarious. It kind of crawls you under your skin that he did go to an ACC competitor. Obviously, there were things going on that we're not going to touch here that's a lot of hearsay. It looks like a lot of back and forth with things going on.
Some of it wasn't so much hearsay. I mean, it was on the timeline. It just, we don't know how much of that played into the decision to leave. Well, I mean, it was clear that, Hoff and Hud's parents were beefing on the timeline.
Grow up, people.
And probably off the timeline too,
who knows. But here's the thing, and we're going to hit the good news and then get into a couple other things. But Brian, what's going on there? Nestor started this year at right guard.
Heavy rotational player when he wasn't starting. If they were moving him around a little bit when we had some guys out for COVID, had some guys out for injuries, but I mean, he was on the field most of the time.
And Hudson was essentially, we were thinking he could start at left guard, he could start at center. If not, he's going to be the swing guy on the inside because he can play every position. And the big game was that game where Brock got pulled. It wasn't Hud that went in, it was Hoyt. And we were just kind of like, well, hey, Brock.
That raised some eyebrows. That definitely raised some eyebrows.
Brian, that game, you were immediately terrified. Oh, God, how many snaps are going to go over top of the quarterback's head?
I was like, we're either going to snap it over the quarterback's head or he's going to be a little slow out of his stance there, and we're going to end up with a sack before he even really has a chance to go through progressions. I mean, we saw Hud play so much his freshman year, especially at center, with some of the other guys going down and Hoyt just being Hoyt. It's really shocking to me that he wasn't the first guy off the bench at the center position, and that he saw so little work at guard. We thought with Hoffman in there that Hud and Nestor would kind of be 1A 1B at right guard, and Cannon was kind of just the true number 2 there. So I mean, Hud's essentially number 3 at both the positions we thought he'd be at least number 2 at.
And it kind of begs the question of what's going on inside that room, because something we talked about before we got on, guys, is this a coaching staff right now that literally clears the board every year and says earn your spot, versus what should probably be done of, how'd you say it, Brian?
I mean, essentially write it in pencil, write it in dry erase. I mean, you got guys that this was your position at the end of the year. It's there, but I can easily erase it if you don't, carry your damn water.
Versus saying, oh no, you got to earn it again, where it's kind of like, that's sort of irritating.
I mean, they've done it with quarterbacks every year, man. I mean, I respect the idea behind it, but what I don't understand is that, like, I feel like they're taking it to the point where they're turning guys off that feel like they've earned their spot.
Seemingly, we are projecting that this is what's happening.
This is speculation, but that's the way. Again, that's the way the fan base is reading it.
Yes.
I feel like we're coming from a typical fan perspective. We're reading it from this way, and it seems to be turning the players off in some way. The guys that, for whatever reason, they feel like they're competing against a ghost almost every week. I mean, that can get frustrating, man. And that I'm not trying to take anything away from Austin Cannon. I mean, he's been a very solid rotational player for us for the past 3 seasons. But I thought that Hudson would have had a better shot at being the number 2 at that guard spot if we kept Nestor at guard. I mean, I'd personally advocated for going ahead and moving Nestor to tackle when Darrisaw was leaving and having Hudson being the starting right guard. And I mean, that I was way off there. And I don't know if that's necessarily something that, I missed the evaluation, or if, things are just weird in Viceland sometimes. Who knows, man?
No one does. And you know why, Brian? Because no one talks. But let's move on. We've got a couple more things to hit. Like, we did get the Johnny Jordan transfer out of Maryland, the interior offensive lineman, which it hurts losing Nestor, it hurts losing Hud, but, guys started quite a number of games in his career. Definitely doesn't have the ceiling of those players, but at least we got something to
Yeah. So I was describing it with Curtis when I first saw it coming through. I feel like he's a step down from where Nestor was this season, but probably maybe a half step up or a step up from what Hudson would have potentially put out in a 2020 season had he still been here. So not, a huge get here, but at least something that I think will kind of stop the dam from breaking, if you will. Looked at some of his tape, saw he played in high school. He was a guard in high school, so he's been primarily a center for Maryland, but he's played guard in his career, so that's possibly he would slide in at guard, or it could be a situation, where we'd slide Hoff over to right guard and let him play center, depending on their comfort level there. But decent pickup for us. We need to hit the portal a lot more, but that's a good start. But I mean, it begs the question, man. Let's talk about some offensive line depth in 2020 and offensive line depth in 2021.
All right, Brian, you ready?
Yep.
Offensive line depth 2021, starting 5, pretty nasty. Christian Darrisaw, the All-American. Leticus Smith, who is getting higher and higher talk. I don't think he's got enough to make it this year. He puts another good campaign together. Leticus is going to be a guard in the first 5 rounds of the draft. Hoffman, the tone setter. Nestor, the second year sophomore who probably played more like he was a junior. And then Tenuta on the right side, who had his ups and downs. Damn good.
Really good at sealing the edge there. Sometimes hit or miss in pass pro.
Exactly. With the backups of Cannon, Hud, Silas, who was, had gotten some good time the previous year, and Hoyt. Even with snapping issues, the guy's still okay at center. I mean, we were 9 deep. We were 9 deep on the line where you, like, any combination, like, okay, we can make things happen.
Yeah. Yeah, you were 9 deep. You feel like even if 2 guys go down, you're still able to put out a competent line. A line that you feel like can do something. A couple guys go down, pass pro gets a little spotty.
Yeah.
But across the board, still a pretty good line there. 2021, what we're looking at this year, we've got I'm gonna go ahead and say Tenuta's gonna slide over to left.
He did.
I could be wrong.
Yeah, but he did during Darrisaw's.
Yeah, he did when Darrisaw was out, so I'm gonna assume that's what we're gonna go with. Lester Smith coming back, left guard. I'm gonna stick with Brock Hoffman at center. We'll put Johnny Jordan as the penciled in right guard for now, and Silas Zanzi on the right tackle.
And I feel good about that. I feel like that's an offensive line, not as dominant, but good enough to be productive.
I think that's still a line that's better than we had in 2018 and 2019, but not a line that you want to, get national publication like we were getting most of this season.
But next is where it gets sort of with Jesse Hansen, Parker Clements, Caden Moore, and potentially Austin Cannon coming back. I mean, the guy that we think is the if guy is the only guy with, playing experience.
He started some games and he's had really heavy rotational work. So, you'd feel good with Cannon as kind of your swing man at the both guard positions there. But beyond that, it's a bunch of question marks. We know Caden is a road grader, but we don't know how he'll hold up in pass pro. Parker's got a good body for pass pro, but I don't know if he's kind of filled in and knows the offense well enough to where he's going to be able to do a lot. And I mean, Jesse Hansen is a talented player, but I think there's just still some question marks there. Hopefully he's going to be a guy that's going to be more like Cannon that can kind of do a little bit of everything on the interior of the line there, to be kind of that safety valve in the interior.
Well, to me, Hansen's a guy that has the potential to step because of, you look at his body type. And when I say that, Hansen he's 6'5", he's 310 pounds. He's that guy with that prototypical tackle body type where if something can just click, he would be an unbelievable swing tackle. I think Parker Clements definitely got a little bit more seasoning, a little more weight before he's there. But who knows, a regular off season, you don't know what can click. But essentially, I think we're going from an A to I'll give it a C+ for the way I'm looking at
if we're going to talk portal, we definitely need to hit at least one tackle.
Damn right.
The portal.
And
because I think interior we can mix and match, especially if Cannon's back.
Mm-hmm.
But Hansen being more of a guard fit than a tackle fit, even though I think he might could play it, you definitely need to go and get a tackle that's not a essentially redshirt freshman as your swing guy.
It's true, man. But the whole thing is we're sitting here talking portal in general. We've gotten one interior offensive lineman. We need another offensive lineman. Wide receiver's the iffy one because if we'd actually passed the ball like we did against UVA, you saw Changa Hodge become that stick mover.
Yep.
We don't know what Evan Ferris can do. We feel great about Trey Tay and Big Stone Gap.
Let's go ahead and move Blackshear to wide receiver because we've brought in 11 in the last 2 seasons.
No, Brian. We're going to continue to put him in the backfield.
He is not a spellback.
We have 10 running backs. He should be in that group, Brian.
No.
I'm very sarcastic right now.
He needs to be in the slot. It needs to be him and Payute working in the slot next year, or one of those guys that can work outside and let Tay slide in the slot. We go 4 wide if we need to sometimes, man. I'm sick and tired of not getting guys with talent involved in the offense because you're fucking hard-headed and you made a decision and you have to stick by that fucking decision to make you look like a big fucking genius.
Ooh. Somebody poked a bear right there. Sorry about that. Exactly. But the whole piece is, I kind of joked with Brian, other than running back, go the portal everywhere. I mean, we need some defensive tackle depth. We need some defensive end depth. We need some linebacker depth. With Rook officially gone, you got Dax and Tiz and Keshawn, but you need at least one more. Corner feels okay. Safety.
I think we need safety help with anything, in my opinion.
You don't. Why don't you feel like safety's okay right now?
We were kind of plugging and playing at one of the safety positions, and we just lost our best safety is heading to the NFL draft. So we weren't solid at the boundary safety all season, and our free safety is now heading to the NFL. So I would like to at least get one safety that's got significant playing time at playing safety, at playing the position of safety. Love you, Taylor. It was an awkward adjustment there. You did okay in spots, and you had some ugly times in spots. But I get it. You were playing out of position most of the season, so you get a little bit of a pass from me because of all the roster choices we made and some other unfortunate things happening just before the season started.
It's very true. But then you got to kind of go out there. By the way, folks, go Google and search 247 portal and just go look through that cluster heat. Jesus, Lord have mercy. And it's going to grow. It's going to grow easily the next month. So we'll probably have, I feel like every episode that we're on, we're going to be talking about either somebody in the portal from Tech. We picked up somebody who was in it but now is back home.
Yeah, we're going full Wild Wild West here pretty soon, guys. I mean, as crazy as the kind of the first round has been here, I feel like we're going to see probably another second round. Either if it's not sometime in early January, it's going to be sometime as we get to spring ball and people start seeing that they're further down the depth chart than they thought they'd be.
Exactly. And that's going to be super interesting. It's going to be something fun to watch. And, yeah. So, all right, Brian, let's just hit real quick before we get into picks.
Yep.
We clearly had our blow off last week.
Yeah. That was us bringing on a guy that wanted to get stuff off his chest, and we were throwing in with him.
I still, and this is going to be the third time I say it, I don't feel good about next year. I want to be completely wrong on everything. It's no disrespect to the players. I want the players to win. I want the players to get theirs. Yep. But we had the presser. We discussed that, and that felt okay. But it's like, well, what's going to happen next? And that's going to be my issue. Because you can say it, you can have an opening presser or a end of season presser and make things sound like, oh, we're going to do some changing. But it's like, what are you going to change though?
And yeah, that's the big thing we need to see is what are these changes? Are they wholesale changes with the way we're getting guys involved in the offense? Is it wholesale change? I mean, I feel like on the defensive side, a lot of it's just going to be reps and actually having time to evaluate guys at the positions that you need to.
To me, it's not even that. What about the opening of the program?
Yeah, I'd like to see that too.
Because if we're going to sit here, and my thought is probably potentially in March they're going to probably start maybe letting the press back in to some of those where the press can be on site, maybe. But then what are they giving? If they're having scrimmages, are they allowing anyone in? And I mean, they could still say, well, COVID, and they essentially they have their ace in the hole this year. Well, COVID can't let people in scrimmages, can't do this, can't do that, which is bullshit because it's gonna be the MO of the coaching staff. Yep. The other piece is I want answered, and I don't know how you say it, but you want somebody to ask. All right, what's the depth chart look like? And somebody to grill them and say, why? So you're telling me that Brock Hoffman has to earn a center spot? Things like that.
Yeah.
Because if, 6 months from now, we could be sitting here and we could go through spring and all this, and we could be sitting here in a late July, heading towards 4th of July, a normal 4th of July, hopefully. And me and you sitting here like, what's the difference, Brian? And you're going to be like, there is none. They talked it. They have followed nothing through.
It's like, are we just going to be sitting around with the same, like, okay, well, we got this roster. It's kind of the same without a couple of the better pieces that we had last year. And they didn't change anything in how they're executing on the field. They didn't change anything of how they're making adjustments in the game. They didn't make any other sort of changes. They're not even giving us the access that we want to even enjoy the things that this team is offering. Yep. So, like, if we don't see something that we can grab hold to and try to pull some positives out of, I mean, people are going to just stop fucking coming, stop paying attention, and it's going to be sad. And I'm hoping it doesn't get to that. I'm hoping that something is done, whether it's on the field or off the field, to get the fans engaged in this program again, because that's going to be important. Enough with COVID, man, enough people have said, I don't need this unless you're giving me a product that I care about.
Exactly. The biggest scare is going to go from anger to apathy.
Yeah.
And I hate to say this, I think people, the first month of the season, people might be energized, but you go out there and you look shitty against Middle Tennessee, you look shitty against Richmond, you lose to West Virginia, and you lose that opening ACC game, it's going to go to apathy. And once apathy hits, if apathy hits, you better fucking fire him.
Yep.
Because there's going to be somebody with a hell of a lot more money and a hell of a lot more pull than me is going to be like, fuck you, get out.
And I mean, I know we said we wouldn't do this, but fire him mid-season so we can get a jump on the candidates, because I feel like we're going to need to secure someone before things get into bowl season and we start seeing other firings at these bigger programs. And now we're getting, the trickle-down coach and not the frontline guy.
Exactly. All right. Well, let's jump and have a little fun, Brian. We have lined up 9 bowls that are starting tomorrow afternoon through the 2nd. So we're going to do these in an order. We're definitely going to pick the playoff games at the end. We're not going to put them where they should be just because that's the way I want to fucking do it. And why would we go to those bowls in the middle and then talk about 2 meaningless bowls later?
Yeah. We're putting the shit that matters at the end, guys.
Exactly. All right, let's start it tomorrow afternoon. I think it's a 2:30 kick. The Cheez-It Bowl, which I'm very hungry now. I'd like a big box of Cheez-Its right now. Miami versus Oklahoma State. This is pretty much a pick'em game. Oklahoma State at last look laying 1.5, Brian. Earlier this week, we got the wonderful news that De'Aaron King would be returning to Miami.
Yes.
It's
not great news, but I mean, it could be worse, I guess, on the Miami front. Anyway, I still like Miami in this game. I think De'Aaron King takes care of business. I feel like him coming back is kind of a good boost for them, despite some of the other things that, with opt-outs and all that other stuff that you can't control. I still like Miami here. I feel like Oklahoma State has been kind of inconsistent this season on the whole, even though they fielded a pretty good squad. So I'll take Miami here.
Again, it's basically a pick'em game, and obviously, like it kind of feels dirty to take Miami, but you feel like with Oklahoma State, did Hubbard opt out? Did Chuba Hubbard opt out? This is the way I'm leaning right now. If Chuba Hubbard opted out, then I am probably going to go with Miami as well. Sorry, Brian. I'm efforting to his Twitter account to see if
he opted out.
Give me Miami. I'll take the points because that makes me feel like, yep, definitely. I'll let you jot that down on there.
Yep. Another thing with Miami, I feel like they had their shit the bed game already. They got that out of their system, so hopefully they'll show up this time.
Yeah, Miami, who if they beat UNC is probably playing in the Orange Bowl.
Yep.
Like not having to leave home or anything.
Exactly. So they got their shit the bed game out of the way before the bowl season.
All right. Next, let's look at the Alamo Bowl. Colorado and Texas. No, Texas was not back this year. Tom Herman. I'm trying to figure out how he saved the job.
I'm guessing there was enough variables with COVID that they are just riding one more year.
They're also Texas, and they can do whatever they want.
Yeah, I mean they've got the money to both cover his whatever his buyout is and buy out whatever coach they decide to hire. So money's not the question for them, other than whatever the optics are of doing that with, people losing their jobs and shit like that. So
they are laying 8 against Colorado. Colorado, first season under Carl Durrell, 4-1. Only game they lost was at the end of the season. They obviously had quite a few games canceled. Beat Arizona, got a coach fired. San Diego State's always a solid team. And Stanford and UCLA, are what they are. That's going to be in Texas. It just feels too big the way Texas played this year. But on the other hand, Tommy Herman, one game seems like he always can get his nut up and figure things out. I will lay the points. Give me Texas.
All right. I'm going to actually go the other direction here. I think Colorado showed me enough. Texas is really bad on defense. I think Colorado will be able to score, and I think that's going to be enough to where Texas has to squeak out a win instead of having a comfortable win at the end there. So I'll take Colorado.
Got it. All right. Well, Brian, there comes a time when Belk becomes the Duke's Mayonnaise Bowl.
I feel like this bowl is like got Halifax written all over it, man. Like everyone from Halifax eats Duke's mayonnaise on their sandwich. Everybody from Halifax shops at Belk.
It's the ultimate connection to our hometown. And this year it's Wake Forest, Wisconsin. Wisconsin laying 7.5 points. Obviously we saw Wake this year, and that was the beginning of our frustrations, because if we had just run the right damn thing, we make Wake look a lot worse than they actually are, but we didn't. We got stupid in offense. And y'all know who we're referring to in that case, when you try to run at the edges of a team that sets the edges well versus the inside where they're shit. Oh, sorry, we're picking the Wisconsin game. Give me Wisconsin. I think Wisconsin's going to blow the doors off Wake Forest. I don't care if Wake Forest had to drive 2 hours to Charlotte to play this game. Wisconsin, more talent, better quarterback, better run game, better defense.
I'm with you because honestly, Wake Forest befuddles me. Just across the board. Like, so, they lose a game to NC State at the beginning of the year went down to the wire. Then they closed the year by getting blown out by Louisville. And in the middle there, they beat us, they beat Virginia, and take UNC to the damn brink. I don't know what this team is anymore. Like, I thought I knew in the middle of the season when we played our game, but I apparently have no fucking idea who they are. So in that case, I will take Wisconsin.
Exactly. I've seen Wisconsin blow people out. The losses were to 3 pretty good teams. So yeah, I think Wisconsin wins big on that one. All right, Brian, let's get into the New Year's Six. In an intriguing matchup, I'm actually looking forward to watching, is going to be on Wednesday night, the Cotton Bowl with Florida versus Oklahoma. This line flipped big. It is Oklahoma 2.5 now. Just a few days ago, it was Florida like -4, so a 6.5 point swing. Obviously, Florida's got quite a few opt-outs going on. But what are you feeling on this one?
It would have been a no-brainer for Florida before these opt-outs, but we had just in the last 24, 48 hours, several of the key players for the Florida have opted out. So I'm going to take Oklahoma here. It's pretty much a field goal game here, as close to a pick 'em as you can get without being a pick 'em. So I'll take Oklahoma.
Yeah, you got Kadarius Toney opting out. I'm trying to see if Kyle Pitts is opting out. Marco Wilson opting out. More receivers. So I'm with you. Give me Oklahoma. Just because I feel like Oklahoma's going to be able to score on the Florida defense. And with Florida, with more and more people opting out by the day, you just got to feel they're not going to be able to keep up, and definitely not within.
So Florida had Tony, Pitts, and Grimes all opt out.
That's your best receiving target and two of your good receivers. What about Trask? Has Trask decided to opt out yet? Or is he going to
I haven't seen anything about Trask.
Well, he's kind of still playing for.
And then Marco Wilson on the other side of the ball. So.
Yep.
Yeah. So that makes Oklahoma kind of a no-brainer here. But
all right, let's go down to Atlanta next, Brian, in the Peach Bowl with the Georgia Bulldogs and the Cincinnati Bearcats, the undefeated Bearcats, AAC champions, with Luke Fickell, Marcus Freeman at defensive coordinator. I think they're looking for a little respect in this game. And I think with the amount of time they have to prepare, and again, I can't see Georgia blowing them out. I can't see Georgia winning by 10 points. I think it's going to be a scrapper. And when you have that sort of game, always go dog. So give me Cincy. Give me the 7 points. I think they pull the upset outright. I think it's going to be an absolute war. Going to be an absolute war on New Year's Day at noon before we get into the big games. Keep an eye on it.
Okay. I'm actually right there with you. I'm not going outright win, but I think Cincy is definitely looking for some respect after all of this big time snubbing by the committee. Probably at least having them at least probably 2 slots lower than you would think they should be based on what some other teams have done. Most people had them right behind A&M, kind of right there at that 6th spot. And that's not what happened. So I feel like they're playing for some respect. They kind of got a little bit more of the roster that they're used to than maybe UGA does. So I will go with Cincy. I'm not going to go with the outright win, but
lay the point.
Yeah.
All right. Next one is going to be the Fiesta Bowl with Oregon and Iowa State. Iowa State laying 4 points. So, Brian, what do you think on this one?
Oregon's going to outright win this game.
Woo, buddy.
I think it's going to be very, very close. But and I mean the line says it there. It's at 4, but I think Oregon's going to squeak it out.
You think Oregon squeaks it out here?
Yep.
I'm kind of going to be with you. If you think about the bowl game last year, where a lot of people didn't. I'm not going to say gave them a chance, but just one of those things where it's like it seems like Mario Cristobal is the kind of guy when he gets into a one-game situation, he has very good. This is how we're going to win this game.
When he can control long-term outcomes, he does a very good job.
He does. And so give me the 4-2. I'm with you. I think Oregon wins this game outright. And this game's going to be on Saturday afternoon at 4. So, get your beverages, get your popcorn, get ready for it. All right, before we hit the big 2 games, let's go to the Orange Bowl. The Orange Bowl on Saturday night. North Carolina, Texas A&M. Texas A&M laying 7 points. Carolina's already had a few guys already opt out. I've got to say this is going to be A&M big. I think A&M pissed because I think A&M says we had to play Bama second week in the season. They beat us by 28. Ohio State's played 5 games. Why didn't we get in?
They played 6, but they shouldn't have played 6 because the Big 10 changed the rules.
They kept changing rules, and remember it was 6 when they looked like it was 7, but then it went to 6.
Yeah,
it looked like they were only going to get 6.
They were like they essentially kept finding ways to make Ohio State the conference champion.
So I think
that's all they did. They kept finding ways so that Ohio State would be their conference champion, so they would have a chance of having a team in the college football playoff. And I don't disrespect them for doing it. It's still shitty. It's still very shitty.
So give me A&M. Give me A&M by 3 touchdowns.
I'm pretty much right there with you. I don't know if I'll take the 3 touchdowns, but I'll definitely take more than the 7. Especially since I don't know what UNC team is going to show up.
True.
Like,
if the defense that played against us and against Wake Forest shows up, it's going to be more than 21 points.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. If you're giving up points to in the 50s to a losing team in those matchups, you definitely going to get your ass ran against Texas A&M.
Damn right. All right. Well, let's go to the playoffs, man. The Rose Bowl in Arlington, not Pasadena.
Yeah, Rose Bowl by way of Texas.
Rose by way of Texas. I give them. I don't know if this the Rose Bowl committee or Northwestern Mutual who sponsors it. I give them credit for moving it where fans could come. At least the kids' families could show up. So California, you're a bunch of idiots. If nothing else for that game, you should have said every player, coach, staff member can bring 4 family members.
That they got us a 70,000 seat stadium. You can't just spread some motherfuckers out, like let 1,000 in there and spread them out.
Dude, no, Rose Bowl's a hell of a lot bigger than that, man.
How big is the Rose Bowl? I forget how big the Rose Bowl
is. Hold on,
90,000.
Say that again.
90,000.
So yeah, they could have done.
You can let 1,000 people in there and spread their ass out.
Yes, you could.
It's not that hard.
All right, this is a big one. This is Notre Dame. This is Alabama. Historic programs, which I feel like I don't know what meeting this is for them. I'm going to effort this real quick. They have only played 7 times. 7 times, which is just insane to think. Last time was clearly 2013 in the BCS championship game where Bama blew their doors off. Then 87, 86, 80.
Yeah, they didn't play a single time between 87 and the 2012 national championship game.
Only 3 times in bowl games.
That's crazy.
70s. It's crazy. Bama's laying 19, Brian. What are you thinking?
You know what? My head is saying take Bama in the points. They've been playing fucking lights out, but I feel like this was going to be tighter than that 2012 matchup.
Oh yeah,
we're going to see a little more fight out of the Irish. I feel like there's some guys on that team that are playmakers. They're big play guys in the right circumstance. So I think the Irish will keep it closer than the 19. So give me the Irish there.
Yep. And I'm going to go with you on this. And if the Irish are smart, and they didn't do this against Clemson, they have the talent where they need to slow this game to a fucking crawl.
Yep.
I mean, literally snap the ball with 2 seconds on the clock. Do not try to play pace with Alabama. Don't do that. And I hate to say this, and I'm going to go back to our game versus Clemson this year. Look how it worked. You limited possessions. You slowed the game down. You went to some of your strengths.
Yep.
And we were in that ball game. Notre Dame, when that game started here, a couple Saturdays ago, I'm like, slow it down. And they're trying to sling the ball. I'm like, you're playing the game. You can't
run Kyron Williams and Chris Tyree until they can't run the ball anymore, and use Ian Book as your stick mover on 3rd down.
That's it. Slow, steady, slow, steady. I'll take it because I think Brian Kelly's a smart enough coach who knows that's his only chance to win. But by all means, if we're sitting here on Friday afternoon and I'm seeing them go 3 and out because they're trying to sling the ball and be like, fuck. Easy as that.
That's all right, man. I think they'll bring a little bit more fight than they did against Clemson. I think they'll have a better game plan, especially with the amount of time they had to prepare for it. And I think they've seen what can happen against Clemson, and they'll learn from that mistake as well.
All right. Well, speaking of Clemson, they are playing Ohio State in the Sugar Bowl. Clemson's laying 7.5 points.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear Dabo's comment about why he put Ohio State 11?
I heard it.
Well, the other teams had played 9 or more games, and I had to put them above because they played 9 or more games. All right, Dabo, we got you. We got you. You know, you kind of backtracked why you put them 11 versus just saying, well, I don't know if they're good or not. They ain't played enough games. That's all you had to say.
Yeah.
Not that the other teams had played a bunch of games. But this is obviously a rematch from last year that literally went down to the wire. And the way I feel about it this year is I do not think Ohio State is as good on defense as they were last year. I think Clemson's better on offense. I think their line is better than it was last year. I think Lawrence has went another notch with the way that they're running that offense. I can't. I see this as a 10 or 14 point game, somewhere like 42-28, 42-31. Going to be competitive, but I think Clemson pulls away late. What do you think?
I think Ohio State will have a lead in this game. I think they still lose by at least 10 points.
Okay.
I think Ohio State might jump out early and kind of have like a 10-7 or a 14-7 lead somewhere in the first or second quarter. But I think Clemson's just going to be too much across 4 quarters. Eventually that offense is going to break through, get some points on the board. I like Clemson's defense more than I like Ohio State's defense, and I like Clemson's offense because it's more dynamic than what Ohio State is, even though Ohio State can definitely put some points on the board. So yeah. I'm gonna take Clemson to cover there.
All righty. So there are picks for the next 6 days. Looking forward to see how we do. Now, Brian, I'm scrolling through here. Is there anything else we are missing?
I haven't seen anything of note pop through. Nobody else has entered the transfer portal in the hour we've been recording here, so I think we're going to be all right.
We think. I'm trying to see. Jalen Holston put a video up a couple hours ago that I did not see. I'm assuming he is back. All right. Well, folks, that is going to wrap up this episode of the Boundary Corner podcast. I am Curtis Wilson.
I'm Brian Siegler.
Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and hit the subscribe button for the podcast on your favorite source, including Spotify, Amazon, and Apple Podcasts. We always look for feedback. DM us on Twitter. Leave a review on one of the podcast sources so we can read it, what you want to hear more of, what you want to hear less of. As always, we let our buddy Jason Long play us out. Catch him on Spotify and Apple Music. We thank you for listening. And as always, let's go.
Hokies!